Hi, all you SPMEs out there. Today's question has 3 answers, and you're going to want to stick around because the third answer is a secret as to how republishing your book can get your account shut down on Amazon. So let's get into it. The question that was sent in today was, can a self-published book be republished? And this is a very common question because there's a number of reasons you might wish to republish your book. One of them would be, what if you've had major changes in the book itself? You've done some editing, maybe put a new cover on it, you've got new content, you added a chapter. There's a number of reasons you might want to do this. Or maybe the book, it's been so long, you previously published it a long time ago, and now you simply want to get it back out there, or maybe on a different platform. And we're going to look at these answers to these questions today, so stick around. This is Chris Baird from selfpublishingmadeeasy.com, where self-publishing doesn't have to be so hard. Click the subscribe bell if you'd like for me to make more videos like this one, and check out below in the description and grab a copy of my self-publishing secrets checklist that will make sure you're not skipping any steps that are going to cost you sales on your book. So, can a self-published book be republished? Well, let's take a look. When I first got into my personal story on this one, it's that I would create books and I would make modifications to the books, but then I would just push them back out as the same. So I personally don't have any experience with republishing a book. Rather, we would just simply be reposting the content for the book so that the newest versions that are coming out, or not really versions per se, but in terms of I fixed mistakes that have been found, or some of my readers had found mistakes, and then those mistakes were corrected, grammar mistakes or other types of mistakes that might have slipped through the cracks during the editing process, that I make those changes and those revisions to the things, but then I roll it out and it's still the same book with the same ISBN number and all of these sorts of things. However, I can say that during this process, I've been in contact with lots of people in different forums and different locations who've been self-publishers, and some people were getting their accounts threatened and shut down by Amazon based upon some of this republishing. And there's an entire game around this republishing issue, and I'm going to get into that today. So, can a self-published book be republished? Well, the first answer is yes. You're free to come out with the new versions of your book. So you have edition 1, edition 2, edition 3. This happens all the time. Sometimes even people will take books that were published a long time ago and gone out of print, and then we'll republish them. That's another example. Or another one would be books that are now in the public domain because they were published so long ago. You can publish those books out. And so in a sense that would be republishing, but is it your self-published book or somebody else's self-published book? If it's out of the public domain, you're free to republish it under your own thing, though there's some challenges and issues on that Amazon will try to filter because they see the market getting flooded with these books that are low quality, and they don't like that. So, but for you, you're free to republish your book. Nobody has any rules against this. However, I'm going to get into some of the details here. The second answer is if you're making minor changes to your book. We're still talking about the exact same book. Even if you're going to add another chapter, fix mistakes, put a new cover on your book, you could even change the title, talking in terms of the digital version, not the print version. Then you're simply going to just re-upload those files like I've done previously many, many times as I improve the quality and the formatting and such of the books that the existing books that I have. And if I'm even coming out with the new titles on some of the books in order to give it better keywords, I can't change it on the print version because it would require a new ISBN number. So generally, I will leave that alone. But you can come out with new covers and such. Okay, so the title itself will stay frozen on audiobooks and on the print books. But in terms of the Kindle, the ebooks, you're able to redo them, changing the names, all of the metadata, the publishing company, the author, all of it can be changed. So this is a very important thing you're going to want to keep in mind if you're doing this. But now let's get into the secret answer of the day, and that is you can get your account banned from Amazon for publishing a book that they've previously restricted. So they tell you your book violates somebody else's copyright, somebody else has claimed that book as theirs, the material that you're using is ripped off the internet. Maybe you had a ghostwriter write for you or something like that, and they were using material, so Amazon takes down your book. that's a warning shot against your books, your account, to say, hey, you're using content that you do not have the rights to use. So you've got this clever idea. I've got an idea. I'll just republish it as a different book, right? Except for the fact that Amazon, they're in their algorithm and the machine learning and the artificial intelligence they're using in their systems are going to just simply look and say, wait a second, we just told you this content was forbidden, and you're republishing it. They could have other reasons too. The content is offensive or violates their terms and their agreements, their policies, or it's misleading, or it's making promises, or it's hate literature, or any of these sorts of things that would cause Amazon to flag this particular piece of content. And your idea is okay, they want to stop me there, but I'll just republish it. This could get your account shut down. So this is, if they've told you they don't want that book, then do not republish that book on Amazon. Okay, so that was our first issue. And the second issue is, what if the original version is still on Amazon and your new version really doesn't differ by, I forgot what the percentages was. It has to differ by something like, I don't know, was it 50% or 20%? I can't remember, but you should check up on this. But it can't be like, oh, I've changed 5% of the book. I added a new chapter, so I'll call it edition 2. And now I've got 2 books that are functionally identical on Amazon. This is a violation of their terms as well, and this can get your account banned. So I would not suggest that unless we're talking about completely redoing the book, so that if we compare the 2 manuscripts, which Amazon will do, they're not going to find those 2 to be the same. Now, as I mentioned on previous videos, if you're doing bundles, so I have 2 manuscripts, you can come out with a book that has both of those manuscripts together, because the content is going to be, well, it's got the entire manuscript of the first book, but then it's got a second book, and they put the 2 together, and so now it's a high enough percentage different than the original book, okay? So this is not going to create any problems with the books that you're publishing. You will not get warning shots from Amazon against that. And I can tell you one thing is I've seen people who are making upwards of $10,000 a month suddenly have their accounts completely shut down overnight for violating Amazon's terms. Sometimes they don't completely tell you what it is you did wrong, or they do forced arbitration. So there's a number of ways Amazon has of messing with your account and messing with you personally if you choose to violate these rules. So I would suggest following Amazon's rules. Do not do anything that would possibly find a little loophole, or you find some little clever thing. They're going to catch up with you. So not a good idea. Best to stick with their terms and conditions that Amazon has when you're going to be publishing your book. So do not republish a book that you already have out, or one in which they have already told you they don't want that book on their platform. So those are just a few of the tips that I have found. So can a self-published book be republished? What have you found? Let me know below in the comments. Have you republished a book on Amazon? Have you received any of these warning messages? I would really love to hear from you. I respond to 100% of all comments that are left below in the comments section. And check up above me here for more answers to your self-publishing questions. Thanks.